Studio this afternoon to join you from Knowsley Road, where we're bringing you the highlights of the Slalom Lager Championship game between St Helens and Hull. Both sides have got a lot to play for. Hull hoping to make that top four, St Helens still hoping to make the last eight. The police tell us that several thousand people have made the long journey from the east coast of Yorkshire across the M62 by coach and car to cheer their side on this afternoon. Joining us to add his expert opinion is the Rugby League Secretary-General, David Oxley. But first, you'll hear with the latest team news from your match commentator, Keith Macklin.
St Helens, they'll get into the top 8 playoff if they win today and beat Widnes on Tuesday. They've won 10 and lost 3 of their home games. In their last 3 home games, they've scored 15 tries, 2 against Hull Kingston Rovers, 6 against Warrington and 7 against Halifax, and they ran in 5 at Oldham on Good Friday. Saints' outstanding player in recent weeks has been loose forward Harry Pinner, and had Steve Norton been at number 13 for Hull, it would have been quite a battle between the veteran and the young pretender to the Great Britain jersey. But Norton's out of the Hull team, and Pinner will give Madeley a tough workout this afternoon. The Hull team, without Norton, Lloyd and Crane in the packs, they're all injured. Away from home, they've won 6 and drawn 7 matches. They lost a Challenge Cup tie here at Knowsley Road by 5 points to 3. And, of course, they lost that crowd-troubled derby at the Boulevard on Friday, which dented their top 4 ambitions, but they still have hopes of those. Paul Woods, well, at full-back, one of the craggiest and toughest characters in the game. Welshman Paul Woods, who can play scrum half or full-back. He's recently resumed the kicking with Jeff Lloyd out the side, and 5 goals on Friday in the now notorious derby game against Hull Kingston Rovers. And we welcome back to Rugby League action referee Vince Moss from Manchester, looking cheerful and happy, and none the worse for his little experience at Fartown. And it's Hull who kick off in this match, which is so vital to both sides. St Helens looking for a top 8 place, Hull for a top 4 place. The top 4, of course, meaning you get a home tie in the first round of the Premiership. And Saints, who had a pretty rough spell in mid-season, will be happy to be in this position. At one time, they were facing relegation. It's Saints in possession. The skipper, Eric Chisnall, pushing the ball out. Roger Owen, Mel James. Left-footed acting half-back, Chisnall, Pinner up there with him. Pinner taking men off, shrugging them off. He's not a big man, Harry Pinner, but a most elusive and powerful runner. Chisnall, Arkwright, Gawley. That's Peter Gawley, one of the 2 brothers. His brother Les is going to Wembley with Widnes. Chisnall inside to Haggerty. 2 young centres, Saints this afternoon, Haggerty and Bayliss, making their mark. Here's a Pinner kick high in the air. And it's Saints' possession with Gawley. But since that was the 6th tackle and Saints retained possession, it's a scrum. Dean feeding his own hooker's feet, so it's a penalty to St Helens. The differential penalty, no kick at goal. They play the ball, but it's dangerous enough at that with 20 yards out. James. Well, Charlie Stone lay down in his path and almost got trampled on, and 10 yards from the Hull line with Chisnall. Owen, big Welsh forward, battering through. Gets over the 10-yard line. 8 yards from the line, St Helens now with Liptrot. Chisnall. The short ball to Arkwright. Arkwright going over easily. A lovely try made by Chisnall. And Chris Arkwright, who scored 2 tries at Oldham on Good Friday, slips over for Saints' first try.
Yes, the artistry of Eric Chisnall here, firing out a beautiful pass. Chris Arkwright, still a lot to do, but a good try to add to the 3 he got over the weekend.
It's over. 5 to St Helens, 0 to Hull, and Harry Pinner already making his mark with that goal from Chris Arkwright's try. Pinderville is their leading scorer with 13 tries. Saints Heavies. Instructions from referee Vin Moss, and down they go. Penalty, that was own feet by John Canning. John Canning's third choice scrum half for most of the season. There's the penalty being taken. Stone for Hull. Well, it was a tactical move from a penalty that brought St Helens 5 points. Can it do the same for Hull? Madeley to Keith Tyndall. Keith Tyndall looks as if he may be over the line, but not grounded. He's on his back. He looks over the line, but held on his back, Tyndall. There's the dummy. Still no try. No, held on his back. Hull very, very close to a score on 2 occasions. It's the hooker, Tony Duke, who went over, but he couldn't ground it. So Hull very, very close to a score. Tyndall looked over, Duke certainly was over, but they couldn't touch down. But it's still dangerous. Another penalty. Looks as if John Canning's getting a ticking off. Well, can Hull work a move now? They're very close to the line. That's Tyndall again. A narrow escape a few minutes ago. Now Duke. Madeley gets it out, and this time surely, yes, Birdsall is in. Made by the loose forward replacement, Ian Madeley. Charlie Birdsall crashing over.
Well, Steve Norton would have been proud of this. Ian Madeley making the ground, laying off to Charlie, who was supporting well. An excellent try.
He's wide, it remains at 5-3. So both sides have scored a try, and Paul Woods pulling that goal kick wide. Hull battling now to overhaul this 2 points deficit. 5-3 St Helens lead. Canning to feed. Well, the ball will emerge. Eventually it comes out to Dean on the Hull side. He had it after all. Madeley. So Hull keeping it going. 5 minutes before half-time. 5-3 to St Helens. Hull in possession will be. Stone. Getting it out to Birdsall. Charlie Birdsall has one try this afternoon. Looks as if he's hungry for another one. Dean, the reverse pass to Skerrett. And 6 tackles. So Hull in this last 10 minutes have certainly subjected the St Helens line to a lot of pressure. And this with the fact that's without Crane, Lloyd and Norton. Penalty, well, this could be dangerous. Penalty at that scrum. If Hull play quickly, they can get moving. Banks inside to Woods. Paul Woods going for the line. Dean to Skerrett. Again that move on the reverse pass. Just 3 yards from the St Helens line. 5-3 to the Saints. Dean. Madeley. Madeley getting it back to Dean. Dean held. The St Helens defence holding out. Stone. No way through yet. The tackling's holding. Stone plays it himself. Few extra yards. It's the last one. That's Walters in. A lovely move from the play the ball, and Walters saw the gap and was over it. Graham Walters puts Hull in front.
Driving in there for the position. Look at Tony Dean getting into position. It's Tony Dean who makes his try, makes the room, and Walters an easy job to finish off. Tony Duke makes that try.
Yes. Oh, he faded away with the wind. Was right through the middle and faded away with the wind. The bad luck for Paul Woods. Just 1 point in it. Roger Owen obviously got a bang. Saints keep it moving with Pinner. And Arkwright slips 2 tackles. Arkwright's looking for support. Still going, gets it to Haggerty. And the hooter blows as Haggerty takes it over the 25. And on that note of action, it's time to take a break. Rejoin us with the half-time score, St Helens 5, Hull 6, after the break.
Oh, how I hate my hair. It always lets me down. I've got double trouble, dandruff and grease. None of the shampoos I've tried get rid of my double trouble.
Now there is an answer. Head & Shoulders Greasy Hair Formula, just for you. You know regular use of Head & Shoulders clears dandruff ordinary dandruff shampoos leave behind.
Bye-bye, dandruff.
Welcome back, and for his thoughts on the first half, David Oxley.
Well, no end of season blues about this game. Plenty of excitement and good football. Of course, a vital game for both sides, and the game's being played with the sort of commitment one would expect. But so far, in an excellent spirit, no problems for referee Vince Moss. Battle of the back three, very interesting. The Gawley, Chisnell, Pinner trio for St Helens, and Birdsall, Skerritt, and Ian Madley for Hull. And Madley's form has been a revelation. He's filling the Steve Norton role with great distinction at the moment. Just signs towards the end of the half that the powerful Hull pack were beginning to get on top, and they deserve this narrow lead. But Saints always dangerous on the break. Everything to play for.
Oh, and a kick by Birdsall goes dead. Well, we could see a lot of kicking from Hull in this half. They have the advantage of the wind that Pinner used so well in the first half. Saints trailing by just at 1.56 at half-time. St Helens in possession. There's Matthias. Looking for support, no one on that left-hand side. Pinner, Arkwright. Oh, good strong running again by Arkwright. Bayliss was taken out of the game by a tackle. Saints keep it moving. Chisnell. Pinner on the 25. Still a strong attack.
A beautiful break here by this very exciting prospect, Arkwright. Moving well, looking for support. It's not quite there. Paul Wood's a despairing hand on and just perfects the tackle.
Peter Gawley. Liptrot to Chisnell. Pinner, the short one to Bayliss. What a lovely time ball. And what good strong centre running by Bayliss. And a good arm tackle by Dean. Good move, good rugby.
Oh, a masterly pass by Pinner to get this exciting prospects Bayliss away here. And it's Tony Dean, the evergreen, who just manages to hold him short of the line.
Chisnell, and Chisnell puts the big forward drive in, looking for support, gets it from Liptrot to Arkwright. Here's Arkwright again, and nicely to Jones. Arkwright's power to thrust through a tackle shown again. Jones, Arkwright, Canning, right along the line now. Chisnell straightening it up, looking for support, gets it out to Owen. Owen just sees black and white jerseys, goes up the middle himself. He's going, looking for support to Gawley. Gawley kicks ahead, can he touch down? Yes! Gawley touches down 6 inches from the dead ball line. The try awarded to Peter Gawley. Element of luck about it, but he followed up.
Well, a superb run by Roger Owen here. He didn't appear to have anywhere to go, runs well, gets his pass away. It's kicked on behind his own line by a Hull player, and Peter Gawley's first there.
A scrambled effort, but they all count, and it puts St Helens in the lead. by 8 points to 6 with what looks like a simple goal to come from Pinner. Yes, St Helens 10, Hull 6. Harry Pinner's second goal of the match. His 14th of the season. He's also got 6 tries and 4 drop goals. That's Peter Gawley, the try scorer. Had an element of luck from the kick, but went after it. Les Jones. Saints now back in front at 10 points to 6. Holt. Left trot, Chisnall inside to Pinner. Pinner to Jones. And in goes Prendeville. That'll be a penalty to St Helens. Prendeville, it may have been an over-enthusiastic attempt to grasp Jones, but it rather looked like an attempted punch. Prendeville will be called out. Well, Prendeville ticked off with that tackle on his opposite number, Les Jones. Penalty to St Helens. Pinner to kick. Left trot on the halfway line. Here comes Owen on the burst. Comes up like a Sherman tank. Hope. There we have the typical platform for a classically simple try in rugby league. The forwards driving in, making the openings, then the backs come into it. Lip trot, Chisnall. Arkwright, and beautifully to Canning. Canning to Gawley, under the post. It's the second try to Peter Gawley. And a lovely move, the best move of the game. Beautiful bit of rugby.
Rugby league football at its very best. It's the Chisnall Arkwright link. And young John Canning doing particularly well here to wrong-foot the whole defence, get his pass away to the ever-supporting Gawley. Good running by Peter Gawley, his second try of the game.
Marvellous piece of rugby. The forwards setting it up with those 2 heavy drives from Owen and Hope. And then the backs taking over with that lovely move, finished by second row forward Peter Gawley. There's the goal from Pinner. St Helens now move into what is quite a comfortable lead. 15-6, but we've still plenty of time remaining. Well, can Hull come back from that couple of body blows from Peter Gawley? Pinner again, inside Jones. Jones going down the centre of the field. George Robinson waiting for him. And Robinson brings him down. Robinson will pull back now with Ward, with forwards at number 6. But wherever the whole formation is, they're under pressure now from Chisnall sending a dummy. And Saints playing like a team possessed at the moment. Pinner, Gawley, Peter Gawley. Couple of tries from him. 2 tries in 3 minutes from Peter Gawley, and for Saints there's Pinner. Hull on the ropes at the moment, taking a lot of punishment from this rampant Saints side who have the scent of the top 8 in their nostrils. And there's Roger Owen again. Roger Owen crashing through this big front row forward. Saints hungry for tries at the moment. Canning, Chisnall, Chisnall, and an interception by Stone, just as the Hull defence was taking a battering. Duke, Skerritt. Well, can Hull come back from those two tries, really rocked them? There's Walters. Hull were well into the game until Gawley's brace. Tyndall gets it out. Madeley takes it a little further. Walters coming inside. Wilby. Robinson the substitute. Down the middle. Good work by Robinson, still going, pushing men off. Great effort being put into this game by both sides. There's Dean. Good running by Dean, firing it out. Picked up by Peacham. Good determined running. Hull realising they've got to pick up a try to get back into this match. They trail by 15-6. And they're over the 25-yard line. Skerritt. He wasn't held, so he got the ball out. Woods. Hull 10 yards from the St Helens line. Madeley. Birdsall. Tyndall. The forwards powering in. Duke. Stone wants support, gets it out. Still Hull have possession. They're on the final tackle. Duke to Prendeville. And there's no way through. But certainly Hull came back with spirit after being hit by that quick 1-2 from Peter Gawley. Keith Tyndall goes off. Mick Sutton comes on. Mick Sutton, nice clean jersey. On for Tyndall. Mick Sutton, son of Tommy Sutton, who played for both Hull clubs and played for Hull at Wembley. And there's Keith Tyndall going off. And it's close to St Helens line, and Dean has possession. Getting up, plays the ball to himself, and a penalty. He didn't play it properly to himself. And as Tony Dean goes over the line, oh, the injustice of it all, says Tony Dean. Oh, Mr. Moss, you have done me a wrong.
Well, quick thinking Tony Dean, did he play that ball? Vince Moss right on the spot, he said not, and no try.
The ball has to be played with the foot, and Vince Moss, believing that Tony Dean didn't play it properly, but it was an enterprising bit of rugby by Dean, deserved better than the fate it got. So Saints trying to come away with Roger Owen. Needs 4 men to put him down. Chisnall to Pinner. Pinner again making the half break and looking to move the ball out into the open. Chisnall. Bayliss slipped as he came to take that pass. Liptrot looking for Gawley. Bayliss! Bayliss going up the touchline. Jones is inside him. Jones is scoring. They won't stop Les Jones. Les Jones, the 4th St Helens try made by the touchline break of Steve Bayliss.
Well, Peter Gawley scored 2, now he sets one up, comes on the short side, beautiful pass to Steve Bayliss, who runs brilliantly, times his pass to Les Jones, and then it's all over.
Les Jones had a testimonial last year. That's his 9th try of the season. And after Harry Pinner has taken this kick, George Nichols will come onto the field to substitute for Mike Hope. Pinner makes it 20 points to 6. Magnificent second half by St Helens, really taking Hull apart after Hull had watched the second half, and it looks as if Tony Dean is still arguing about that this last time. George Nichols, veteran of many a test match, and what a man to have coming on a sub. On for Hope. Owen. Nichols. Pinner. Nichols, Chisnall, Gawley. The whole defence now beginning to show gaps. Nichols, George Nichols takes it over the halfway line. St Helens wanting plenty of points as well as the victory. They want to make absolutely sure. That's a penalty, a two-man tackle, the ball thrust out of Pinner's hands. It was loose forward Ian Medley that did that. So penalty to St Helens, the ball played, Roger Owen. Pinner, Haggerty, good running, and Dean, I think Dean showing a little of the frustration of that disallowed try. Chisnall, Pinner again, going for the 25, Les Jones is with him, inside is Bayliss, and he knocked it on. Bayliss had a walk in. Perhaps he didn't expect it, perhaps Harry Pinner was even too clever for Bayliss.
Beautiful break by Harry Pinner. He's looking for Les Jones on his right. Prenderville takes Jones out of the game. He has to switch it inside, and Steve Bayliss just can't hold the pass.
Pinner to Chisnall. Haggerty. On the 6th tackle. Oh, and Tony Dean goes down. Haggerty will get a talking to at least. Yellow card possibly.
Well, the tackle well made here. Roy Haggerty held him in the tackle. Tony Dean comes to complete it. And for his pains, he gets a little elbow jab.
Canning selling a dummy, trying to go himself, almost got it out to Arkwright. Owen, the battering round all forward. Chisnall, Nichols, good short ball to Pinner, but a good tackle too. Charlie Birdsall wasn't letting Pinner through that time. Nichols firing it out to Chisnall to Arkwright up the middle. 20 yards from the Hull line. St Helens looking for their 5th try. Liptrot, Nichols, Pinner gets it out to Litherland. Litherland going himself. Litherland in, made it all himself from the flail of ball. Pinner was tackled, wasn't held, slipped it out to Litherland, and he decided to go around the defence himself.
Well, a tied defence here. Allow Harry Pinner, who's very strong in the upper body, to get this ball away, and Litherland finishes it off well, but it must be said that the whole defence is looking a little bit dispirited and tired at this stage.
St Helens 23, Hull 6, and Hull's great first half effort has now evaporated. Hull won't be too happy this season about their visits to what used to be called now South Lancashire, but is now a mixture of local authorities. Warrington hit them for 38 points at Wilderspool. Now here comes St Helens, making it 20, well, still 23. As Tony Dean kicks off, Chris Arkwright is named as St Helens man of the match for some great breaks from the standoff half position and the first try. Gawley. Nichols. Liptrot trying the tackle breaking. Chris Arkwright, the man of the match. Pinner. Chisnall, nice ball to Arkwright. Arkwright away again, pushes off Dean. Arkwright's going himself, but a good tackle by Birdsall. Hegarty. Owen, can Owen go through? Yes! Roger Owen bolt powers him through for the 6th try. Roger Owen from the Welsh Junior Rugby Union side in Welsh, Wales. Hammered his way through for the 6th St Helens try. And in front of the post, strong wind against the kicker. John Canning trying his luck then. 3 minutes remaining. St Helens having taken complete charge of the second half. Lead by 26 points to 6, says Roger Owen, the scorer, the last scorer. Arkwright, Pinner, Gawley, and it was forward that time. Forward from Pinner to Gawley.
Another classic ball from Harry Pinner, just marginally forward there, but that's loose forward play of its highest order.
Scrum forming 5 yards inside the Hull half. Mr. Moss not happy with it. We're into injury time at the end of this game, which has swung so dramatically from Hull at half-time to St Helens in the second half. This time it's a good clean heel. Dean has it. Robinson. Forwards. Skerrett. Walters, Peacham. Going gamely over the halfway line as the hooter blows. And a good and convincing, and in the second half, spectacular win by St Helens against Hull by 26 points to 6. And let's see what David Oxley feels about all that.
Well, superlative second half display from the Saints. There was a top 8 position beckoning, and how well they took their chance. At half-time, I thought Hull were worth their narrow lead, and at that point, one thought that the powerful Hull pack would take over in the second half. The reverse was true. The back three of Saints, Eric Chisnell, Harry Pinner, and Peter Gawley, who had a magnificent second half, one you'll remember for a long time, really dominated the proceedings from then on.
The interesting thing now that St Helens have commanded the top 8 places, they seem to have struck form at the right time. It is possible for a side in the Premiership to come from number 8 and win.
Oh, it's been done before, and on this sort of second half form, Saints could take anybody on. They have a very, very promising young back division. I mean, man of the match Chris Arkwright ran particularly well off Eric Chisnell today. They've got pace and power and experience up front, and they're more than a match for anybody on their day, and today was their day.
And it was good to see classic forward backing up from Peter Gawley, and Saints' best try of the game.
Oh, that was a classic rugby league try. Superb running by Peter. He had a great second half, and Saints really looked very, very good in the second half indeed. Hull, their heads went down a little, short of possession in the second half. Tony Dean, the veteran, the evergreen, never stopped battling away there. Still disappointed about that disallowed try, but at that point I don't think it really mattered. Saints were well on top and going to win this game.
So a splendid game of rugby league football there, and a win which in fact ensures that St Helens will be in the Championship 8 playoff, something which only a few weeks ago seemed a far cry. In fact, they even looked at one stage as though they might be relegated. Well, for Hull, their hopes of making the top 4 took something of a denting. That's more or less it from this series of rugby league action, but we hope that we'll all be together again come August. Stay tuned though, because later tonight there'll be the full result.